Hello guys and welcome back to Stretford Paddock. I'm Ryan and we're back with another paper talk. Good morning, hope you're all doing alright. Unfortunately, I haven't really got much good news to bring you. As we all know, there's 10 days of the transfer window left. The Fernandes deal doesn't seem any closer. There's no real concrete links to anyone else, any other midfielders or a striker. Obviously with Rashford being injured, we know Cavani's been mentioned and I'm not sure that's right for us personally. Piatek's been mentioned this morning, but he's only scored one goal in Serie A. But get your comments in and we'll get to them towards the end of the video. But we're going to kick the video off really with a report coming from Alfredo Padula. And he has reported that United have spoken to Mauricio Pochettino and Max Allegri about taking over in the summer. The report suggests that the talks with Pochettino are at more of an advanced stage than they are with Allegri. However, Poch will only take the job if he has guarantees about the market and how much money he can get. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's too much in this. Despite our up and down form this season, I do think that the board are behind Ollie, at least for this season and probably another year as well. And to be honest, I think Ollie's getting a decent tune out of what he's got. In all honesty, we've had our best player out for the entire season pretty much in Paul Pogba. Love him or hate him, there's no denying he's our best player when he's playing to his best and when he's fit. He's had to put up with such a thin squad with a real lack of quality, the likes of Jesse Lingard, Andreas Pereira. Still got Phil Jones hanging around the club. And not our worst midfield in years as well. And now Rashford's injury, he's got to put up with. And, the performance on Sunday, against Liverpool, I get the result is everything. It doesn't matter how we play. You just don't want to lose that game. And, but when you look at who was missing, like I say, we had Rashford out, Pogba out, and you look at how well Liverpool have been playing. We were really in that game until the last kick, until Salah scored the second goal. Ollie's even stressed that in his press conference this morning, saying that we lost to a Liverpool team, a team that you all say are fantastic, and we were in the game until the last kick of the ball. For me, that strides forward. I probably wouldn't say in a press conference that it strides forwards losing to Liverpool, but I do get where he's coming from. Liverpool have been given so many plaudits this season, to be fair, rightly so. But I don't necessarily think we look out of place over the course of 90 minutes against a team that have a 30-point lead over us. And like I say, if we had Rashford in the form he's been this season, if Pogba did want to be here and was playing for us, I don't think we're coming away from that game. They're certainly not losing it anyway. And with Poch, Spurs played good football, but you look at who they had. They had prime Eriksen, Harry Kane, who's arguably the best number 9 in the world. Dele Alli, prime Alderweireld and Vertonghen at the back, and they still didn't win anything. And people say, "Oh, we just want to get back to playing the United way," but they only say that when we lose. And does anyone honestly think that we should be finishing higher than 5th or be in a higher position than 5th at the minute? Because I don't think we should. If you think so, get your comments in. But I honestly think that Ollie is doing really well with what he's got. And, I don't think Poch is a bad manager. I just don't see him or Allegri or anyone else, for that matter, doing a much better job with what we've got at the minute. So let's just stick with Ollie and see where it gets us. But obviously, like I say, keep getting your comments in and we will come to them at the end of the video. If you're Ollie, you're out. If you think Pochettino's going to do a better job, I will come to them. Moving on to a potential activity in the transfer market for United. We've been hearing that since it opened. But Matias Vecino, now the Mirror are reporting that United are looking at alternatives for Bruno Fernandes if the deal should fall through. And the Inter Milan midfielder Matias Vecino is supposedly on their radar now. I don't know much about Vecino, but he is a 28 years old, so he's got some experience under his belt. In the Serie A this season, he's made 18 appearances, scored just the 1 goal, and grabbed 2 assists as well. Looking at them numbers, it doesn't fill you with too much excitement like the numbers that Fernandes is racking up at the minute, obviously last season and this season as well. And, it's certainly a massive step down from Bruno Fernandes, who we are clearly looking at. But I don't think he's going to be too much worse than anything we've got in midfield if we are looking at Vecino. He plays at Inter Milan. Inter Milan are doing pretty well in Serie A at the minute, so he's probably a decent player. And if you do know anything about Vecino, get involved in the comments, clue me in. I've not seen too much of him play. Obviously, we just mentioned Bruno Fernandes there. Just a quick one, because we don't want to kick the arse out of it too much. Doesn't seem to be any real update on this front. by all accounts, both parties still seem to be stuck in a stalemate over the fee and trying to land on a fee which suits everyone. You know, we've had reports ever since really. Fernandes is desperate to come. He wants to come. We want him. You know, we clearly see him as someone who can take us forward and might be the difference in finishing between 4th or 5th. And if that's the case, then surely we've just got to pay what Sporting want. But nothing's ever that simple with Woodward and United in the transfer market. And you know, it is baffling. You know, we've got 10 days left. Like I said, I've not criticised Liverpool performance too much, but you saw someone like Andreas Pereira who had an absolute shocker against Liverpool. And you know, if we had someone like a Bruno Fernandes in that game, I can guarantee you he's getting on the end of that ball that goes across the box from Wan-Bissaka to make it 1-1. I can guarantee we create a lot more chances if he's in that team. And you know, again, it's just frustrating. You know, it just seems to be rumbling on. And like I said, we've got 10 days left. If United do want to achieve anything this season, in terms of finishing top 4 or even pushing for a cup, you know, we are going to have to do some serious business. And moving on, news this morning that United have been charged with the failure to control their players against Liverpool. Obviously, you all know the incident that we're talking about, the clear foul from Van Dijk on De Gea that wasn't given. Liverpool go and score, and De Gea almost throttled Craig Pawson. And you know, the fact that we've been charged for a referee mistake is shocking, really. I mean, it was bad enough De Gea getting booked for reacting how he did. And for me, I obviously, in the heat of the moment, you're there, you're very frustrated, but you go back and watch it, and you actually watch the referee throughout the incident. The most frustrating thing, he goes to put the whistle to his mouth to blow up, but then you see the ball falls to us, and he tries to be clever and play an advantage, like we're going to play 2 passes and go and score at the under end of the pitch. It's never going to happen. And, you know, it's just typical referees nowadays, trying to be the star of the game, take all the headlines and get a load of plaudits for playing good advantages and making good decisions. And in the end, the incident didn't make too much of a difference, but, you know, that's not the point. Like we say, we've been charged for a shocking piece of refereeing that never should have happened, and De Gea's come away with a yellow card from the incident as well for the referee making a wrong decision. But like I say, with referees, it doesn't surprise me that much nowadays. I'm going to come over to a few of your comments now. Let's have a look. Dr. I can't pronounce that name, but Ollie should stay. Completely agree, mate. This club is turning into the Norwegian government kindergarten. Don't really know what you're implying in that one, mate. But Mourinho was right all along about United not being active in the transfer market and Martial being bang average. You know, Mourinho normally tends to take one step too far, and you know, we didn't back Mourinho, and it was so daft of us to give him the contract extension and then not back him in the summer. But I don't agree with the Martial being bang average. I know Martial gets a lot of stick and for his work rate and looking like he's not arsed, but if you go back and watch the game, you know, the runs he was making off the ball, and you know, I think he was pressing, and I think we've definitely seen like Martial press more in recent games as well. But it must be so frustrating for someone like Martial. He makes the runs, and it's not just in the game on Sunday. He's been doing it for a few weeks now. We just have no one to play that ball. You know, as good as Fred was against Liverpool, like driving with the ball, he still doesn't really has that defence splitting pass in his locker. And you know, I do think Martial gets a lot of unfair stick, to be honest. Will Rees saying get rid of the Glazers. You know, the Liverpool result really put things into perspective for some people that don't really follow United that much in terms of the structure of the club. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen Carragher and Keane have a big debate after the game as well. And you know, we can talk about bringing new players in, we can talk about changing managers, whatever you want to do, but nothing is going to change at that football club until the likes of Ed Woodward and the Glazers go, and we have a complete restructuring of that football club, because it's rotten from top to bottom pretty much, and you know, nothing is going to change at all. Too much hatred on Ollie, that's unfair. You know, I agree with that as well. I think Ollie gets a lot of unfair stick, and he doesn't really get praise for what he does well. I mean, you know, you look at our performances and the results against the majority of the big teams this season. You know, he beat City in the league. Obviously, the performance in the League Cup wasn't great. You know, we're the only team to take points off Liverpool this season. Drew against Arsenal at home, beat Chelsea on the first game of the season and in the League Cup as well, beat Leicester. And so he doesn't really get any praise for that, but then when we go and have an average performance and draw against someone like an Everton or lose to a Newcastle, then he's the worst thing in the world. And you know, I get why people are frustrated, but I don't think you can put as much blame as gets put on Ollie as it seems to be. Let's have a look at a few more. LVG didn't like Ed and our owners either. Yeah, I think Van Gaal's been quite vocal since he left the club, really, about his time there, and he's basically come out and said what we all know anyway, that it isn't a football club anymore. It's a franchise, and all they care about is making money. You know, Roy Keane made a great point on the post-match analysis after the game, and he was basically saying that United need to give Ollie more time. And you look at who we've sacked, David Moyes. I don't think David Moyes is the right man to come in, but 8 months wasn't enough to find that out, really. And would we be in any worse of a position if we did keep someone like David Moyes now? I'm not sure. Van Gaal came in. He said in his first press conference it's a 3-year project. He got 2 years, and obviously Mourinho, I just mentioned it there. He wasn't really backed, especially in his last season. So, like I said before in this video, the structure of the club is wrong, and nothing is going to change until that gets sorted. A couple more. Where is the director of football? Again, that's just another thing we can point the finger at Ed Woodward for. I think it was the back end of last season when we said we're going to start looking at a director of football. And when you look at the names that have been thrown about, the likes of Darren Fletcher, Rio Ferdinand, Patrice Evra, we all love him. They're all fan favourites, but do they know anything about being a director of a football club? And a director of a football club the size of Manchester United? No, probably not. Yeah, they know the club, but they're not going to have much respect in terms of transfer dealings around Europe. And it's almost as if Wood was just trying to get as many ex-United players in, so no one's going to criticise. But United fans aren't daft. We know that that's the score with him, and like I say, there's bigger problems. There's bigger problems at the football club at the minute. Let's have a look. A few more. Ed probably doesn't want to take a pay cut. Yeah, it's probably true as well, mate, to be honest. The Glazers are definitely the problem. They've been bleeding us dry since the day we got here, and we just never saw it because Ferguson was a genius. I think Ferguson, definitely in his time, he was very much a comfort blanket for the Glazers. I think no matter how much money they gave him, let's not act like we didn't spend money under Ferguson. We did, probably not to the figures that we're spending nowadays, but we could afford to do that because we had the greatest manager to ever grace the game, and now we're being exposed. Well, the Glazers and Woodward are being exposed for what they are, and it's a bunch of frauds. I mean, the Glazers haven't really got criticised that much in the mainstream media, don't like BBC Sport and Sky Sports. But I was watching the transfer show yesterday, and one of the chief reporters on there was saying people going about the money that United have spent, and yes, they have spent money. When you look at how much money's been taken out, over £1 billion has been taken out of this football club. And when you compare that to the likes of Chelsea, Abramovich has put £1 billion in. City's owners in Abu Dhabi have put over £1 billion in. It does catch up with you, and that's where we're at now. I keep saying it. Nothing is going to change until the top all the way down to the bottom is completely restructured. Try and find a decent one to finish. Time and rebuild needed. Unfortunately, Ollie is not the man. If you don't get hang about, that's disappeared. Basically saying that Ollie's not the man, but the rebuild is needed. Who is the man? Because no one springs to mind. Like I say, no one's going to do any better than what we've got at the minute. So let's just give Ollie time. He knows the club, and we've seen the improvement in players. Rashford hasn't gone from a 10-goal season striker to a 20-goal season striker by accident. It's down to. I'm sure Ollie has had a big help in that as well. So I think we are going to wrap it up there, guys. Cheers for getting your comments in. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one in a bit.